Hola todos! So I've gotten a lot of requests on reviewing the differences between ser y estar and the conjugations of both of these verbs. So to begin, we're going to start with ser, which it just means to be. And let's look at the conjugations here. It's yo soy, tú eres, él es, nosotros somos, vosotros sois, y ellos son. The other to be verb is obviously estar, and the conjugations for estar are yo estoy, tú estás, él está, nosotros estamos, vosotros estáis, y ellos están. So notice how I've highlighted the fact that there's an accent on all the A's. Obviously, estoy has no accent because there is no A in the spelling. So now that we know what the conjugations are of ser y estar, we need to know when they're used. So let's first look at the usos de ser. Número uno, so the first use is to describe physical or personality characteristics that remain relatively constant. So an example here would be Guillermo es inteligente, or Guillermo is intelligent. That's a personality characteristic. Número dos is to explain who or what someone or something is. So for example, María es mi hermana. So María is my sister. Another example that isn't written down here would be Señora Garcia es profesora de literatura. Mrs. Garcia is a literature professor. Número tres, to tell time. So I might ask, ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? And you would respond with, son las 9. It's 9 o'clock. So most of the time, the verb ser will be conjugated to tell time as son, except for when you're saying it's 1 o'clock. Then it would be es la una, because one is singular. Número cuatro, to tell where or when an event takes place. The example here is mi clase de español es a las 8 y es en Peabody Hall. So I'm using the verb ser 2 times, 1 time here, which describes at what time that event takes place or when that event takes place. And I'm using the verb ser, conjugating it to s again here when I am telling the person where that event is taking place. So the last use of ser that I'm going to discuss in this video is to express nationality, or to tell where someone is from. So in the first example, we're saying somos de Cuba. We are from Cuba. So that expresses where we are from or where we were born. And the second example is somos cubanos. We are Cubans. So our nationality we identify as being Cuban. Now that we know what the uses of ser are, let's look at the uses of estar. The first one is to describe physical or personality characteristics that can change. The example mentioned here is Elena está enferma hoy, or Elena is sick today. So she's not usually sick. That's not a permanent characteristic of her personality, but today, temporarily, she is sick. So that's why we use estar versus ser. The second use is to indicate change in condition. So the example is Leo y Lía están cansados. So Leo and Leah are tired. They weren't tired before they were running around and playing tag, but their condition has changed and now they're tired. So that's why we use estar over ser. Location of people or places. The example written here is El cine está en la calle 8. The movie theater is on 8th Street. So that's the location of the theater. Another one that's not written down here is Estamos en el restaurante. We are at the restaurant. That's where we are located. Or ¿Dónde estás tú? Where are you? Where are you located? So the last use of estar that I'm going to talk about is in the formation of the present progressive. So for AR verbs, we take the form of estar that matches with our subject. So it could be estoy, estás, está, estamos, estáis, están. And then I take that AR verb, and in this case, I'm going to write it out here. In this case, I'm using the verb bailar. So I take the infinitive form of bailar, I drop the AR, and then I add ando. So my final product is están bailando mucho, which translates to they are dancing a lot. For ER and IR verbs, the process is similar but also a little different. So you again start out with a form of estar that matches the subject. And then you take the infinitive of that IR, ER verb. In this example, I'm using comer, which is an ER verb. So I drop the ER and I add yendo. So my final product is estamos comiendo frutas. We are eating fruit. All right, so that's a repaso de ser y estar, and hopefully you can now differentiate between when to use ser and when to use estar and to use the correct conjugations. So yeah, if you have any questions, please comment them down below.